All right, gentlemen. But moving on to the next topic, gentlemen.
Get off the little gentleman head.
All right. A recent study came out. Not even a study. It was actually a news article that I was watching. That apparently right now the birth rate inside of North or South Korea, not North Korea. So the good Korea. Is apparently dropped. The good Korea has apparently dropped to 0.7 child per woman in the country. That means that for every single woman that's in the country, they're only having 0.7 children inside of the country. So this creates now an unstable situation where eventually by around the year 2060, they will not be able to sustain their elder population. Gentlemen, what do we think about this? So South Korea might wipe itself out because they're not fucking enough. That's essentially what they're saying.
It's crazy. How is it in Japan? Isn't it bad in Japan too?
Birth rates are super low there too.
So it's apparently a global phenomenon, but South Korea specifically is the worst example, and they got to the point where there's no way of turning it around.
0.7 though.
They're at 0.7, yes.
But why aren't they having kids?
So some of the research points to their actual society where they're way too hyper focused on efficiently doing their jobs. So they put way more hours into working than they do into actually starting a family. And it's it's illegal to work more than 50 hours or something like that. But people are so hyper focused on their careers that the government is actually thinking about raising that a little bit higher to allow them to actually work more hours. That's something that they're considering. But it's they're costing them their families in the process.
Right. I seen especially in Japan, the business culture there, they allow you to take naps at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing because that means you're trying to get refreshed and focus back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's business meetings, have you seen that Twitter thread where it's just Japanese businessmen just passed out drunk because they have to, after a meeting, they have to go and drink, and you can't leave until you're fucked up.
Gotcha.
Until the person who came in for the meeting to talk business with you is satisfied to go home. So you can have a regular just worker who doesn't even drink, just focuses on work, and you're forced to get fucked up with these people. And you can't leave until they decide to leave. You can't stop drinking.
Okay.
It seemed especially while doing business, it seemed like a bad dude. You gotta be hospitable.
Gotcha.
Is that the right word? And big ass word for me.
I do understand that's some of it is cultural. Now something that they also pointed out is that as a population and as a nation grows, because they're growing their economy, eventually their population becomes more educated. They have lower child mortality rates. But then at the same time, when those two things go down, the amount of children that they have also goes down with it. So this is not a problem that is only centered in South Korea. The U.S. is actually close behind them and China at a 1.36 something, I think, is where we sit. Now, do you guys know what the required rate is supposed to be?
3%.
No. How many children should each woman be having in order to maintain a population?
2.
There's an economic number.
2.
It is 2.
Right, so how they doing the point? How you got half a baby, bro?
It's an average. So if you take So that's on average how many children are born for every female in the country. So you're supposed to maintain a 2. Right now we're at 1.3, whatever it is. And then South Korea is so bad that they've reached the point of no return at 0.7 that they have to import people at this point in order to have more kids.
Nah, you got a good point though. How is there 1.5? Because you either don't have children, you have one child, or you have 2 children. So where's the 0.5?
That's what I'm saying.
Are they little?
Are you guys?
Yo, that's
Nah, cut that out. That was good.
That's it.
Nah, but I'm asking a serious
no,
question.
but it's that's what I'm saying. 0.5 doesn't make sense. It's either you have 1.
Oh, but wait, what if they have 5, right? And then the next door neighbor has 0? Technically, that's 2.5. That's-
You just understood fractions. Yes.
I see what he does.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you said
you're right.
for every woman,
Yeah,
you
but
have
he did say
1.5.
that.
That's what you
Okay.
said.
All right.
Yeah, you
I
did say that.
worded that incorrectly. That's my fault. But that's what it averages out to. That's what I meant to say. So they've gotten to the point where it's a point of no return, where eventually their younger population won't be able to support the social benefits of their older generations for their elderly and whatnot. So another problem that comes from all of this is the fact that there aren't any young people to take on the traditions of the older generations. So their culture will also die off eventually because of the low population rate.
All right, but 2060, you said?
By 2060.
Damn.
That's
26 is around the corner, though.
it's pretty close. But again, you have to remember it's the lifespan of a human. So within a generation, about a generation and a half, you'll see them slowly wipe themselves off of.
So, what would happen if that actually happens? Do you think, like,
What happens to the society? Pretending. So I
but
saw a
wait,
video on this.
let's talk about this. If their population goes down, right,
Uh-huh.
and North Korea stays the same,
Uh-huh.
would they invade and try to take over? Because who's gonna stop them? They got
Nobody
nobody in
can
the
stop 'em.
army.
Yep. Now-
Or do we do this?
Yeah.
Like the people who fuck with South Korea, do other countries send people over there to try to repopulate?
To take them over.
But then they wouldn't be fully Korean. It'll be other cultures mixed in with it. Let's say we send 500 Australians, 500 Dominicans, 500 Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm trying to say, though?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah.
And then they are Korean.
So
though.
then all them shits is gonna blend in, but it won't be like authentic, I guess. So it will still have the same effect of wiping out the culture. Because you know
Over
DR,
time. Over
there's
time.
Chinese people in DR that speak perfect Spanish,
Yeah.
but make Chinese food.
Mhm. That's a fact.
But they're Dominican.
pick
They're Dominican, but obviously they're fully Asian.
No pick up yo.
Now, I always had a question about this.
She good as
Like,
fuck too.
let's say they spend their generations, right? Do they find other Chinese families to procreate with?
What do you mean?
So you know how there's those Chinese people in DR, right?
Uh-huh.
But they've been there for like 2 generations, let's say.
Mhm.
So they're still fully Asian.
Okay.
And then they probably have kids that are fully Asian. Do they seek out other Asian families within the country?
So
and
that
do, like,
depends.
arranged
That
marriage?
depends on their personal values, like within their families. So some more traditional families would prefer that in order to keep that lineage going, because they understand like how lineage like affects their society and stuff like that. Like they understand that. But at the same time, it's like you really can't control like who people like. So it's like that makes it a lot harder.
I've never seen a Chinese Dominican half and half over there.
Chinese, Dominican,
What do you mean, a Dominican
Like in
in
that
China?
and Dominican Asian.
Like a half Dominican, half Chinese spawn in DR.
Spawn?
Like in the hood, like in the...
Like where they
In the-
where they be making Chinese food at.
A Dominican Asian.
Like a Dominican Asian.
like actually might be onto something.
I never seen that. Have you seen
I
that?
know
Yeah,
they
I've seen
exist.
them.
I know they
They
exist.
exist, though.
Yeah, I
You
know
never
they
seen them.
exist.
They definitely.
But I've never personally like actually like.
What you saying? They hiding?
I'm saying they don't exist.
No, they have to exist.
They exist.
We
They
probably just haven't like realized like their heritage or their lineage. But I know they have to exist. It's impossible that they don't.
But have you seen one?
But that's what again.
So
I
like,
personally may have not paid attention to it, but I probably have at least passed by them.
So-
It's impossible.
when I
I
said the
was just
same thing,
all right. Look,
when I said the same thing about Bigfoot, y'all looked at me crazy. And now you're
we're
saying the
not
same
doing
shit.
this. We're not doing this.
No, what?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm done.
They come first.
I'm done.
A Dominican
A
Asian.
Dominican Asian.
No, I see what you mean though. I see what you mean.
Well, I bet you if you go to New York, just
You'll find one, yeah.
you'll find one.
That's
Yeah.
New York. I'm talking about strictly in DR. There's definitely a DR, bro.
Has to be,
But yeah,
yeah.
I never seen it.
Right. So look, for instance, so when I went on my
I tried to
trip,
do that for like 2 weeks.
I
When was the
just
last
didn't
time
see
you
it
got
for 10
pick up on you in
seconds.
DR? When
Huh?
was the last time you got pick up on you in DR?
Pick up boy. Last time I was there. What was that? Summertime?
It was Asian.
Nah. Dominican.
Oh, Dominican.
what the fuck? Nah, but I'll give you the example. So right now, when I went to my most previous trip to the DR, I went from the north of the country all the way to the south of the country, and like and like and I explored like different parts of the country and like the people there and like all of that. So if you go all the way up north, what skin color do you think you would most likely find up there?
Light.
Like light skin?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's either you're gonna find the whitest Dominicans, like you'd be like, yo, this nigga came from Europe like last week.
So you mean like opposite of the border of Haiti?
Yeah, opposite to where up
So
to the north.
okay.
Yeah. I went to Monte Cristi. That's like you can literally see Haiti from the beach line over there.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
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 like
yeah.
straight up.
Yeah, straight up to the north.
Oh shit. All right, man.
Like either the whitest Dominicans you've ever seen, or if not, you'll see the darkest because of how close they are to Haiti.
Dang.
So it's no in between. Now, when you get down to the south, that's where you see more of the mixed colors, and you're like, how does it get divided like that within the country?
You haven't been in the middle. The middle.
That's where you're gonna find her.
Find who?
Who are you looking for?
Oh, why would they be in the middle though? He's looking for them.
No, because down the
right arm ones.
So I gotta know where all the mixed breeds are.
Mhm. So if you go down to the center of Santo Domingo, they have Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all Chinese.
But that's what I
That
mean.
you know of.
That you know of. I can promise you.
But
if
you've
you
been
really,
to Chinatown?
Yeah, I've been to the
And
Chinatown.
you didn't see one.
So
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
Am I tweaking, Melly?
You know,
He hasn't seen
you
one.
got a point.
But
You
you
got a
don't know of because just because I don't look like it, I can still be it.
But what would they look like?
Un dominicano, color.
Like, would they either be fully like
Well,
No,
no,
dominant traits?
Yeah, you don't know. That depends on the
But the
pair
eyes
of genes.
Chinese.
It depends on the appearance.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? When you see a Dominican that could barely see,
Yo, that's crazy.
That stays in.
I gotta know, like what? How do you think
We
these people
taking
look
that
like?
shit out.
How do you think these people look like? Let me say you haven't seen one.
word.
I think like in my mind, I'm thinking of an Asian person
Okay.
with like the Dominican features. So it's like
What-
tan or dark skin with curly hair with a David Ortiz bill.
Jesus
fuck?
Bible.
That's what I want to see. And I'll be like,
So you want an Asian version of you?
yeah. But like, you can distinctly see. This shit makes no sense. What are we talking about?
No, I don't even think
We were supposed to talk about.
We're so far off.
They aren't fucking enough.
No.
Niggas that put that. They aren't fucking enough.
I thought it was thinking. I don't know.
What the fuck?
Because that's what's happening.
What's the last topic there?
Wait, what? This is a professional atmosphere. Please stop playing with the show notes.
Hey.